And welcome back to ESL 1 Frankfurt 2014, day 2. That's right, it's finals days, ladies and gentlemen. We have the semi-finals and the grand final on the way, but we also have one more match to complete from the quarterfinals, and we have had game 1 already. EG dominating in parts and then winning that opening game. We'll move on to game 2 very shortly. We've got all of our panelists back again. Bruno.
Yes.
Time for Na'Vi to step up, or, well, they're going home.
Apparently so. I still stand by my prediction, and it's easy to do so. EG, as I said, was going to win.
Yeah.
My heart is still with Na'Vi. They really, really need this victory. They need to advance to the finals of this tournament. They're making a statement. Otherwise, they will be underdogs at TI4. And when was the last that happened? Never.
Yeah.
So, Dendi stepping up their game, the draft being a little bit more Na'Vi-ish and less greedy, and EG maybe making mistakes.
Yeah. Do you said that in the start of the first draft, that they were being a little bit too greedy, and that kind of worked out that way. Why?
Well, you cannot be greedy against EG, I think. EG is one of these teams that, first of all, they're really greedy themselves. So if you want to outgreed them, you're playing exactly the game they want you to play. And also, if you're not creating space for Dendi, and if you're not stopping RTZ Universe from getting what they want, they will just stomp you.
Okay, you two guys over here, your prediction right now looks relatively good, okay? Shiva won't know this, but I'm going to let her know that she's adopted Na'Vi on this side because you've replaced
Oh,
Na'Vi.
but I agree with that as
and
well.
you're okay
so
with that, right?
Yes, I definitely
Even
am.
though they're a game down.
Yeah, but now they have a feel of how EG plays. They know better how to deal with it. And they'll bounce back.
Okay.
I got faith.
You staying faith. That's
Yeah.
good. Seb, how about you? Do you want to change yet?
I don't want to change. There's something I want to mention about EG, though. In my opinion, it's not even about giving space to the solos. It's about shutting down their support. Their support duo is impressive, and they showed that once again. Enigma plus SK basically destroyed Na'Vi in the early to mid-game phase. That Zai player is really impressive.
Okay, we're going to get into the draft. Melini, thoughts on this draft? What did Na'Vi have to do to counter EG?
I think they need a lot more aggressive supports. Roaming Rubik, roaming Shadow Demon, Enchantress or Chen for Puppy, something of that nature to deal with EG's early game and to just simply win the lanes.
We haven't seen junglers at all.
We haven't.
Sorry, Enigma is a jungler technically, but I'm talking about like Chen Enchantress. We haven't seen them at all in this tournament. And do you think it's about time to get one of those two heroes?
Yeah, when people think of Puppy, they think of his Chen.
Yeah.
And also his Enchantress. And he used to be first ban material almost every single game. And yeah, she got nerfed a little bit, and playstyle has still changed. But when I think of Na'Vi, I think of all-out early aggression. They get a little bit in the early game, and they retain it for the rest of the game.
This is the first time we see Lycan make it through when they face Dire. So EG decided to let the Lycan. This is very interesting. We'll see if Na'Vi pick it up.
It's still 100% banned or picked, isn't it?
Or win rate, at least,
yeah.
I mean, when it was Lycan on Dire, he won, or it was... this time it's ignored, so that's pretty surprising. I want to mention the Enigma ban from EG. We saw how they were able to snowball thanks to the mech on the Dire side, so they want to deny Na'Vi, and obviously Puppy is one of the best Enigma players. So that was also...
I want to ask a question to all of you. Was any of you expecting the Wisp on EG?
No.
Because that really surprises me.
It is actually something we talked about before the event, right? Yeah. Like, who plays Wisp? And we're like, we're not sure EG does.
They like Wispery.
They like Wispery. That's what we also said. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, according to previous picks, 15 times they've used it in the recent patch. 10 wins, 5 losses.
Yeah, but the thing is that when you think of EG, you think of these more aggressive support, roaming, and bringing the Wisp here against Na'Vi especially, which know the hero very well. It means that they have something under the sleeve. Wisp Tiny is going to be an interesting thing. We saw it at the Fnatic.
I was going to say, we've seen this a few times already in those 2 days that we've been.
So the strategy is proven to work, or at least to lose and then win. But in this case, Na'Vi, they brought the pack for Dendi. And that is going to be a key hero to stop these two as well.
I really like the Perk plus Prophet combo versus the Wisp, just because anywhere on the map, when Prophet's ultimate is ready, Perk can just jump, double nuke Wisp, and Wisp is going to die basically at the early stage. So it makes it really difficult for Wisp and Tiny to just throw on the lane and split push. Split farm actually, yeah.
Do you think you can still put a solo mid pack against a dual mid?
It can work, with decent support, can work.
And more incentive for Na'Vi to actually go for an aggressive supporting duo, which I, again, also would like to very much see. Give us an Enchantress.
And the Lycan was banned in the second phase. I guess EG was like, well, thank you.
It makes sense. So.
Is it definitely going to be a mid with Tiny coming out from EG?
Fnatic proved everyone that how strong that lane can be, like 3 times in a row. Even though they lost the second game yesterday, where it was the only thing going well for them.
Well,
that
they
game.
were versus relatively weak heroes like a Death Prophet.
That is true. And Puck doesn't really suffer. Like if you keep the phase shift, you can always evade the toss or the avalanche animation. They're not instant casts, so.
And now is when the last supports are going to get picked. Navi still has to pick their 2 supports, EG only 1, but this is going to be crucial because depending on how greedy they go with these 2 picks is how the match is going to develop right now. We're talking about the Chen Enchantress, and I wanted to go to you, Matt. You play a lot of supports. You're not normally the jungle player in your team. You are?
Yep.
What is, like, when do you pick Chen and when do you pick Enchantress in general?
Okay, Chen and Enchantress works very differently. Enchantress is more early game focused, whereas Chen is sometimes it's more situational, I think. Basically, Enchantress destroys lanes, weak lanes, and passive ones that can't rotate. So whenever you see a Lich lane, for example, that's really strong itself, but can't really rotate or adapt, Enchantress is really, whenever you want to apply pressure on a weak point, then you pick Enchantress. So against double lanes, it's very good. So let the Wisp Tiny get something, and whenever they dive, have the Enchantress ready with the smoke. Could be really hard for EG to handle. And this is definitely an Enchantress game, to be honest. But let's see if Navi wants to pick it. It's still very squishy against the Wisp plus Tiny. So.
And what are we looking at for Mason here? Mason, are they going to go for more like global reach with Storm and whatnot?
You know what would make sense for me? Mason Mirana.
Mirana?
I mean, it's you can initiate if you get about jump with Tiny and Wisp. You always have the Moonlight Shadow. You can set up the arrows, and when you get the arrow, relocate instantly. I mean, you can make things happen with a hero a lot. But we're going to see a Wraith King, which might be a support Wraith King again.
It's quite funny actually, because Mirana is actually the most picked for both of these 2 teams.
Yeah, but who is doing better in it?
Well, 6-4 against 14-3 for EG.
Yep, that's pretty clear.
Asia has a really good Mirana.
I think we've got our stats figured out here. I think we know which one's definitely ahead.
Yeah, but if you look at Navi, all of their stats are not doing too well recently.
Well, and EG the other way round, of course. Almost everything they've played is a decent percentage win rate.
Pretty much, and here comes the Chen.
It actually makes sense. I want to, like, Death Wraith King, in people's mind, it's very tanky and you should never focus him, but level 1, it's one of the weakest hero. Like, he does nothing. He can't harass. He has one stunt that's not really good and not gonna do so. Like, they had that Storm plus SK lane last game, and it's a very weak lane. Although you know, when you're used to play versus that hero in late game, your brain just like, I'm not gonna focus that hero. But in early game, it's a weak lane. I'm looking forward to see Puppy rotating on his lane actually and try to destroy that Wraith King plus whatever they want to lane it with.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to follow the movement of the supports because Sun King, not a great lane support, but as roamer, he can do a lot of things. Ben, do you like the hero?
I like Sun King a lot. I actually think he's a little bit underpicked in this tournament. He didn't really get touched. I guess some other supports got buffed, but he is definitely underpicked. Kuroki plays a pretty nasty Sun King too. Very elusive. They have stuns that you can dodge, both Tinies and Wraith King with positional skills. It's pretty good. A lot of AoE to dump in a puck too. Very good at picking off the EO and Tiny.
Yeah, the Mirana is a really good pick for EG right now, in my opinion. If they want to run it safe lane, it's pretty safe against any form of aggression. I don't see the Sand King diving a Mirana under the tower. It's pretty much a killer short for the Mirana plus SK. So let's see if EG wants to pick that up. They're still looking for the... What is Artini going to play if
Tiny,
it's a Wisp
right?
Tiny mid? It's going to play the Tiny.
It's going to be the Mason, Storm Spirit. And
Once
Shiver,
again.
watch this. What comes to your mind?
I just want to see boots on the Sand King, and I think Navi has a lot of pressure for the first 6 minutes. They have to get something in because as soon as EG got their levels, it's going to be a lot tougher to actually shut them down. So there's a lot of pressure on that Sand King and that Chen, I think.
The damage potential right now at EG is much stronger, I think. The damage potential of Navi depends on the right epicenter or the Furion getting farmed. But again, these last 2 heroes are still missing. So we'll see what happens with the last 2 bans. And the last 2 bans, again, are going to be the deny. What would you ban now, Merlini, if you were Navi?
If I'm Navi, I'm looking to ban, a Universe hero?
What, the ban the Nyx?
Yeah, Nyx is already banned out.
It's an awesome ban versus SK Puck, to be honest.
Yeah.
As for EG, I'm looking to ban... What are they looking for? Havost hero, probably need AoE. I'm thinking Gyro, Luna,
10 seconds
Nake's probably going to get kited, trying to think of more Havosty heroes.
Dusa?
Dusa, no way. No way. Dusa would get trucked.
Oh. a shame. No more Faceless Void.
Time.
Is anti-mage an option here?
Against Storm Spirit, it's always an option, I feel.
Against Wraith King as well? Against Wisp as well?
Yeah.
And even against
not
Tiny?
really, well,
It's so but
Craggy is kind of annoying, but yeah.
The only problem I think is they can probably aggro try if they see an anti-mage.
it's always hard against the jungle though, don't you think? Oh, maybe. I guess they have a strong lane to their name.
And it is good in theory, but at the same time, Na'Vi are going to fall behind in the early game with the anti-mage. I think they need a fighter carry, not a hard carry.
Okay.
Like Morana that just got banned,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Still, Luna is also one of those carriers that can start fighting very early on, so we can still see her pop up.
Yeah. I would really see an AM, to be honest. I'm pretty sure it can fight with the proper disable. It deals a lot of damage early on. You always have the Sand King and the Puck to back you up in case they just go on you. They have a lot of damage, like with the first ultimates, like the Nature's Prophet, the Puck, and the Sand King. With the healing from Chen, they won't be able to just burst the anti-mage under the first vortex from the storm, so maybe it's an option Navi's looking at. Yep,
Oh,
there it
it's
is.
the anti-mage.
I think it's a really good pick for Navi.
It really makes sense against this, and the Elder
Yep.
Titan is going to be the last pick here.
It's a very interesting pickup.
Well, against anti-mage, it hurts a lot.
Okay, thank you, lady, and very gentle here on the panelist desk. We're going to go back to our commentary team now for game 2. Can Na'Vi make the comeback, or are EG sailing through to play Fnatic in the semi-final? Let's find out.
Yes, welcome back everybody here for game number 2 of EG versus Na'Vi. I'm W1, joined by Synderen as we're going here into the match, man. EG already one game up. They're going to be feeling confident about this matchup. I'm interested to see just how effective this Wisp Tiny is going to be. We saw Fnatic do it 3 times in a row, and they still managed to get through. I wonder if it's going to be EG saving grace.
It's generally just a good opener for many teams these days. Not necessarily the IO Tiny, but just having the IO in general. We saw Alliance playing it yesterday. We saw Fnatic playing it, and now EG are going to get it. And there's just so many good combinations with it. The IO Tiny, of course, is a classic. And what I'm actually looking a little bit more for in this game is if you look at Navi's lineup this time around. Matt brought up the fact that Havost could be playing the Anti-Mage as a last pick here, and it was indeed Navi's last pick with 1 second left on the clock, so I'm not sure how confident they actually are in it. And the reason I'm a little bit worried for Na'Vi in this case is that Anti-Mage is the type of hero that you don't really want to fight with very early, and then you want to maybe get a Manta Style and then fight into the EG lineup, but you're going to be fighting into an Elder Titan and a Tiny who can just clop your illusions instantly and just bring you down. AM is not an innately tanky hero against physical damage. He's great against magical damage, which EG have quite a bit of, but they also have the hard hitting here, and Havost will have to get a lot of farm. His team needs to create space. Anti-Mage is not really that good of a hero until he gets the Battle Fury into Manta, which generally kicks in at the 20-25 minute mark if he gets good farm. And I don't know if EG are going to let him get good farm. They have quite a few laning options here. I was actually considering if they wanted to try to run an aggressive trial lane with IO Tiny Wraith King and then block the Dire jungle and see how Na'Vi were going to deal with that, because Na'Vi's early game lane is actually not that good.
Well, man, there's... okay, we count 3 camps which have actually been blocked up here by EG for their movement. What we were expecting Na'Vi to do in game number 1, but they didn't have the heroes to really go for such a venture. But EG get up, they get what they wanted to do. The question will now be, how much can Puppey remove? And also, I just want to point out the sacrificial lamb that is Puppey. He has no net worth whatsoever right now. Actually, I take it back because now he's getting income. But the fact he spent all of his money on items, on the courier, on the wards, on the sentry wards, which he had to buy up, and they're trying to de-ward out and going to try and work out which camps are where. Courier's having to check every nook and cranny right now, and then wait to see where they can move around. Because Puppey, I know I was talking to you before about like the 3 to 5 minute mark, when you're able to get your creeps up and running. You get normally 2 creeps when you get to level 5. That's the time when you look to dive behind the towers in the top lane and really try and gain some kind of advantage up against this ET. But he needs the creeps to do so. And so far, like, he needs extra camps to be free, which
So
he
far
does
he
not
needs
have.
a creep.
Yeah, well, he's all he can get right now is like Harpy. That's his only option here.
That would actually be really good. Take the Harpy and go and harass mid a bit with it, I think, and go on the hunt for a better creep.
I suppose you could take the Wisp out of play.
What's really good about the Harpy is, of course, the low mana cost Chain Lightning. That's great for harassing, and you generally use it against one hero in mid, but if it's a dual lane in mid, they can both get hit by it. Yeah, here we go.
PPD with a haster, and he's trying to get the trees from Funnick in front of Mason or someone to try and slow him down. But he's able to get himself back out. The boots first is what really helps out, and it looks like you're 100% right, man. The Harpy's come in and already let a blast over on Zai.
This is going to be really annoying for EG, because if they... So Io and Tiny want to obviously be tethered together and do some harassment or do some farming, and the Harpy's going to hit both of them with Chain Lightning. Just look at this. It's a 2-on-1 lane. There's this 600 health creep, and they're standing in the tower.
Welcome to Harpy Gaming.
It's so damn good. And the cast range, might I add, is 2,500 million. So very easy for them to land that. Did you see the cast range of that? He was casting it from down here in the river up to here. Like, this distance right here. Okay, you can't see me drawing in the river. That makes yeah. Wow, 400 range. Yeah, it's about 1,000, I think. It's insane. But yeah, so far so good for Na'Vi actually in the start. They're getting good farm in their lanes. Prophet getting 8 CS in the bottom lane against the duo lane of EG, and Antimage securing his safe farm top. But Nahas just showed that Elder Titan has the highest competitive win rate right now for a hero played more than 20 times. Yes.
Sorry, it's just Sai being chased down by a Harpy.
He might
through the side. He'll at least clean up the tree lines. Oh! It's almost first blood. He's got a courier. One more. Oh, he got it! Puppy gets first blood. RK used to be like master of Harpy Gaming, and Puppy here in the stage almost gets a courier kill, but first blood goes to the man who was just trying to get his jungle back.
Puppy is going to be a little bit sad he didn't get experience for that, because it's his creep, it's not his hero, but wow. He's got 0 experience and got the first blood. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
That really impacts
really
so
amazing.
hard though. Like the reprook's so big. One chain gets a lot of extra money, which means we're probably looking at faster either arcane boots or we're looking at potential mech coming up faster. But more importantly, is delaying the bottle coming into middle lane. Like Zai tried to bottle rush, he didn't buy anything else, he was looking for the bottle rush, so he lost a lot of gold from that. So because of it, okay, we actually have the bottle now coming in, but it's Arteezy who is the man who has to buy the bottle for the group in the mid. And this isn't what they wanted to have happen. They wanted Zai purchasing up the bottle so then they can get some bigger items into the Tiny. This is really gonna like disrupt the combination of this middle lane. Not by a huge amount, because they obviously Arteezy can spend his money now, but it's definitely not gonna help them.
No, and their other lanes aren't going too well either. Okay, the bottom lane Mason is getting good farm, as he should in this matchup, but they're not really managing to keep down Funnick. He's still got a level per minute in the Dire off lane, which is something you'll be really happy with, like in the last game when Universe got something similar on the Tide. And in the Radiant offlane, Universe is actually getting less than the Prophet is.
Puppy is currently finding the extra farm when he Status Blaster takes an entire Alpha Wolf stack away, while PPD was also there. This guy is everywhere. He's farming up his own jungle and just actually stacking for the SK, so we can get a very quick Blink Dagger over towards Kuro.
Yeah, and look at Kuro, by the way. He's got 2 points in Burrow Strike and 1 in Sandstorm, which was pretty much state of the art a few months ago, but these days a lot of Sand Kings get...
Is he going to get the shot? There's already the Avalanche, and then he gets hit by this one with the toss, but he still had enough time to jaunt back out of here. And Kuro going to Burrow Strike on Zai. Poppy's coming in as well. He has no test, but there's enough damage when Funnick also TP's in, looking for a kill on Arteezy. The Sprout to hold him here, no tank to munch out. The toss already going, Burrow Strike of cooldown now. Kuro through it, he's going to die right now. He's still alive. 26 life points, Funnick's also out. And then he's away to safety. PPD's coming in for Kuro. No mana for a Sandstorm, so he will get the follow-up kill here. And finally gets EG on the board.
Really nice rotation from Na'Vi here. It's amazing to see how much Puppy is doing with, like, nothing. No levels, no items. He has an empty inventory. He's had an empty inventory the entire game.
He just bought boots, man. Like, he just bought boots.
And he's going to go back to base and pick those up, but he's done so much with his creeps and his rotation here. It's really beautiful to watch. And meanwhile, in the top lane, Havost is still getting free farm, even though Puppy isn't helping him out at all. He just got a little bit of a head start, and he's just abusing the fact that Universe doesn't have any mana. Elder Titan is really bad in lane without mana. It's what makes him strong, is the ability to spam the Astral Spirit, but Havost keeps going into his face and just preventing him from getting any chance at ever getting the mana back. And now we're seeing another rotation here from Na'Vi, but it looks like Universe is aware, especially now that Dendy crossed this ward area.
Yeah, so there's going to be no gang for him up on the top lane, and Universe is the only thing he can do. Go back to base, try and heal up, and pray he can reach that soul ring in time. So then at least he's got something to go up against an Anti-Mage with. But Puck's also wastes a lot of time in this middle lane. Like Arteezy's able to find his space again, but then he does return towards the engagement. I'm wondering also how long it's going to be before this Blink Dagger is going to arrive on Dendy. Obviously, it's going to be very, there's going to be a lot of kills coming out in order for him to like get it really, really quickly, because his farm really isn't like that stupendous in the middle lane. And especially with the pressure coming out here from both Arteezy as well as Zai, he's got to be very, very cautious.
But the thing is, Dendi might not necessarily need a blink in this game, or well, he will at some point. But early on, I think they're okay. If Kuro gets one, he's now got the second point in Sandstorm, so he will be able to start jungling if he wants to do that. But instead, he's going to be rotating in with Puppey. It's a double coil.
And then they look for the Burrows, trying to follow up. Zai's the easy one to go for. The Prophet Ulti's also up, so got the bonus damage. ET will come in with his Spirit, so Universe rotating out with the Centaur. Hoofstomp going to go over on Arteezy, just keeping him out of the play again. So we go 4-1. Zai does get picked off, but they force another rotation. And it wasn't ET TPing towards the top lane to go back to farm up against the AM. He came towards the middle lane, so there's even more space for a free farming anti-mage.
I really think Mason needs a TP scroll at this point. These rotations on mid keep happening, and if he has a TP, he's one of the best counter-initiating heroes in the game on that Storm Spirit, so would be really good to see him picking them up. But Na'Vi are just taking so much advantage of their early support gains, and now you see Kuroki doing what Sand Kings are usually doing around this time in the game. Level 2 Sandstorm, a triple stack camp done by Puppey here, and he will now be getting level 5, if not 5.5, not quite 6, I think this is going to get him to, but pretty close. And, well, then he's going to have an Epicenter soon. He's 500 gold away from the Blink as well, which is why I think Dendi doesn't need his that early, because Sand King can play the initiator role.
Yeah, Dendi's almost just like the follow-up Dream Coil with Orb and Rift damage. He doesn't need to jump. And that's probably even the scarier thing right now for EG is the fact that Na'Vi, it's the SK who's the one you have to try and kill off. And like you have an initiating support hero who is very, very tanky. How are you supposed to really, like, you want to throw abilities to try and kill him off? If you avalanche toss over towards the SK, you free up the puck to do whatever he wants. And also, we can't forget about Funnick. Like, Funnick is down here on the offlane. He's hit level 6. That Prophet Ulti really helped him for that kill in the middle lane. They're already bringing a lot of early damage into the fight. And this is something which EG had to be very, very mindful of. And I'm wondering if this is the reason why, like, I don't know if you're actually noticing with Zai, he's actually running dual bottles on this Wisp. it's the only way he's been able to keep Tiny at high life points. So he's got the one that belongs to himself as well as the one that belongs to Arteezy. And he's completely dry on both.
Going to see if they can make something out of this with PPD here. Arteezy does have enough mana for the full combo, but yeah, they're not even going to find the opening. And
yeah, I think that's respect to Kuro as well. Like, you look at him there, and Kuro is, like, you've seen him as a Rubik player. His reflexes are insane. Like, the blink telekinesis, which he's normally able to achieve, are just, like, ridiculously fast. And to see a Hellfire Blast come out, you should see the animation, right, when he comes out of the Invisor at least. Like, unless he's point-blank range on him.
Yeah, if he's in point-blank range, he will definitely hit it. And, of course, the surprise factor as well. When you're... The Rubik example is a lot different because in most cases he is prepared that something is going to happen, but he would, if he doesn't even know the rune was picked up, then he could be casting it from like 300 or 400 range and Kuro might not be able to react, but didn't happen anyway. We're back to a little bit of a farming stage here where Havost is currently leading the charge by about 400 gold against Mason on second place. And I don't know if this farming trade is really good for EG. We talked about how AM can't really be that useful in team fights until he gets the Manta style, but as long as EG aren't getting a significant trade for it, I think Na'Vi are fine if no kills happen in it for the next few minutes. They get the blink on Sand King, Puppey will get level 6 if not level 7 fairly soon, and Puck will only 500 gold away from his blink. If this game just silences down for a bit, just quiets out. The fact that Tiny didn't get too good of a start might be enough for Havost to take the kind of lead he needs. He only needs the Void Stone now for a very early Battle Fury.
Man, that's just going to be... It's a time, though, when Puppey as well as SK have to clear out the jungle. Like, they have to move out then. Like, there is no other option. Obviously, like, when you're going to blink on... Like when you got Blink Daggers up, you can have Mech up as well pretty shortly, too. And Hand of God. It's at that point when Puppey has to be very careful with his creeps, try and control as many of them as possible, because he needs to make sure he doesn't have to keep on taking large creeps out of his own jungle, because that's taking food away from the anti-mage. And if Anti-Mage can bring down that tier 1 tower as well, EG are going to have a very rough time getting into the Na'Vi jungle to actually stop him from farming as well. Because that's probably the next thing we search for. How does EG initiate onto the Anti-Mage? You want to put aggressive Observer Wards inside the Radiant jungle? You can't just send like a rogue Wisp up there unless you're going to relocate to plant wards. That's the only other way you could do this.
I think Mason is going to play a key role. He needs to get the Orchid very soon so they can start ganking Havost before he gets the Manta, because at that point he's just going to survive the Orchid gank. Unless if they time it very well, so they jump in the Storm and relocate at the same time, because then during the Electric Vortex they'll actually get in and get a Toss Avalanche, and they can kill Havost 1.5, if not 2 times during the stun duration, those two have combined.
I'm really not sure about this from Arteezy. Like, I know he loves Hand of Mines, I know he loves to build it for the middle lane heroes, but I'm feeling like Na'Vi very, very shortly is going to be starting initiating on him, and he's going to need something more along the lines of like drums or something like this to survive. when they first initiate on him. Because Funny's getting ready. Like, okay, he's going to go hand to Midas as well, so you might have a little bit more time, but...
I think it might not even be a Midas. This might be a Maelstrom first item.
Bot
lane, PPD.
Yeah, but there's no follow-up. Like, it's just PPD. Unless Na'Vi want to give it a crack, it's like that's all you're really looking at here.
Yeah, it's just intimidating almost here. Navi's side by throwing out that stun. Na'Vi were like, okay, what's happening? Should we do anything? If they knew he was alone, they could probably just killed him at least once.
I'm pretty sure Na'Vi were waiting for EG to jump in, and then they would have
they were waiting for the storm, perhaps, and they wanted to counter-initiate with the Sand King. That's a good point.
Actually, that's another thing to actually think about, man. Like, Mason took a long time before he really did anything during the last game. How long are we going to wait for Mason in this game? Like, you got a 12-minute Battle Fury over on an anti-mage. If you wait for this one, you're going to lose. Like, he's actually got even stacks already prepared for him to continue to farm. And I'm pretty sure they're looking for an opening at the moment too. Denny's moved up, and he actually jumps on Universe. Orb, he's still got Dream Coil. He wants the Dream Coil. The Prophet only will come in. He needs the Dream Coil damage. Universe, he's so low on life, but the 6 charges Denny. You're in too far. He'll pop the Invis rune and back himself up from this. But he needed to hit that Dream Coil.
How did he whiff that? I just caught the tail end of it, but a puck initiating with a Blink Dagger, it should be pretty much impossible to miss that on a melee hero, so a little weird. Well, I didn't see it, so I can't really judge it, but that's a kill Dendi would have definitely liked to have. It's not the end of the world that it fails. After all, it would only have been on a level 6 Elder Titan, but it's still... At this point in the game, getting a solo kill one-on-one like this will get him a lot of extra experience and get him close to having his really strong build. Puck is at his strongest when he has the Blink and level 11. So the level 2 Dream Coil and Waning Rift and Orb maxed.
Middle lane, Avalanche, and the Tender's going to come in, but Kuro's able to Burrow Strike himself away. So taking a large portion of damage, but he's far enough he can blink away from that ET Spirit that was following him down. I also want to point out the fact that Avos, I love this from him. Okay, my own jungle is being used by SK as well as either Nature's Prophet or the Chen. He comes to the bottom lane to add pressure, attacking tier 1 towers and establish some kind of presence inside the Radiant jungle. I know Chen's kind of already doing that too. He's got Centaurs and Hellbears actually taking the creep wave away, allowing Avos to finish the tier 1 tower. Funnick will even come down to help out here. There's no point using fortification because no one from EG is here. More money coming the way of Avos. That'll be his treads, and he can look towards his next item very, very shortly.
I feel like we went through some sort of a time machine here with Navi's lineup and the way the game is being played.
It's old school.
This is a very common lineup from like 2 years ago when teams were playing this, and even giving flashbacks to around the time shortly after TI1 when a lot of teams were playing this kind of anti-mage, Prophet, Chen kind of style because Navi were just dominating with that type of lineup around that era. And it's funny to see them bringing it back so long after and making it work so well. EG have some way more, which we call the modern picks, but the old stuff works. It still does.
Funnick was hunting couriers right then. If the courier went back to base to return some items, then that would have actually been a courier snipe from Funnick. Unfortunately for him, it took the items towards the mid lane.
Puppy's gonna lose one creep, but actually, PPD's using like his entire mana pool and killing these Chen creeps. He doesn't want to use the last one, so he doesn't have his ultimate, but it's been a long time since I've seen a tiny IO get this little done. It's a 15-minute game. There's one kill for the Radiant. And Arteezy, by going for this Midas build, like you said, his impact is going to be delayed, but he's playing an economy battle against a lineup with Anti-Mage and Prophet. He's not going to win that. He's not going to have as much gold as them. So EG needs to win this on teamfight initiation and on composition, which I still think their composition will have an advantage for like a small window in the game, and they need to make the most of it. The moment the Orchid is out, they need relocate ganks, they need team fights.
But you see what Avos is already working towards. He's got his Band of Elskin coming on that courier. He's building him for the Mantis tile. So he's not going to be able to use that Orchid over on the Anti-Mage. And that's probably his primary target here. Like, you want to go on a puck? Sure. You're going to have SK stunning. You're still going to have Hand of God as well as Mech, which is only like 60 gold away for Puppy. And he's already got the Hand of God available. So there's a lot of survivability even after you jump in with the Orchid. So a guaranteed kill isn't there for the Storm Spirit when he first goes in. And the Tiny, he wants to jump in right now, but he's still like level 9 and point booster and treads minus. That's his items 15 minutes in, which doesn't really like, I know it sounds like he's still got a hell of a lot, but it's not as much as you'd really expect from a Wisp Tiny combination.
And another tower is going to go down here from Na'Vi. Anti-Mage gets the top tier 1 as well, so he's taking 2 tier 1 towers now.
Relocate's going to save him. The Wisp pulling him out, but the epicenter over on Universe. Vorts comes in just to say bye him, and then the relocate. There's a good creep wave here, and they're waiting for the Hellbear smash. Vorts is going to stick with him too, and he's looking for the kill, and they actually got the stun! The troll trap hit him almost instantly during the pull away, and that means now Tiny very close in towards a very large push. It's the Undead army, the army of trees, and the army of Chen are beating in on this tier 1 tower. While on the bottom lane, PPD and Mason, they're trying to find some kind of trade-off here against the tier 2 tower in the bot lane.
And they don't get the trade-off. Or did they get the tier 1 at least first? They might have been down here pushing for quite a while. And okay, I might sound like a broken record now, but Mason needs to get moving. At least now he will. This is the completed Orchid, I believe. No, he's actually still short. After free farming for 17 minutes, it's not like he has bad CS, but the problem is they haven't got anything else than farm on him. He's got CS, finally they get a tower, but no kills, no assists for him, so he looks relatively poor compared to how high his farm is, and it's just Na'Vi controlling the rest of the map. There's nothing else happening than Mason farming and
Mason's a
RTC
3-minute
farming.
window. Mason's a 3-minute window before I think Vorts will be able to have enough money that he can buy up that Manta style. So this is the time for EG to move. They don't have blink daggers or anything else like that, so move around, try and find these kills, pick off anyone you can get to is the goal right now.
Yeah, they have to make some more use of this relocate. They've used relocate once in this game, and it was to save a hero and then get the IO killed eventually. So, gonna see if EG can do it. It's not like they have bad team fight, right? They have initiation with the Stone Spirit. They have a Wraith King with the ultimate, which by the way hasn't been used either. And then they have relocate, and maybe most importantly, they have natural order.
There they go. Relocate's coming in, and he will die right now. So they got their window of opportunity. They had 3-minute movement, but they used relocate as well as the Orchid coming out from Mason. So that's the first time the item's being revealed. And Tiny's up here on the top lane, also finding a lot of extra space to farm. Wisp will come back and rejoin him. But at the same time, PPD, he's about to scout this out. He may even die right now. Kuro is here. The Troll Trap will start off. The Hellbear, the Test, and the Burrow Strike. PPD is down. The Spirit's on the way, but it's only its ultimate. But they're going to realize that Roshan's being done. Then he also walked it up. Mason gets a jump on him. The buyback has come out from a boss, so he's going to re-engage here. While PPD on the run, the Troll Trap, no mana and very little life here. In fact, both the Puppies creeps very low. They got the Burrow Strike, Epicenter, PPD. They need a stun. They need something. AM ulti has to be used for it. So they get the kill on the Wraith King after working through his own ultimate. But they did lose the puck. They did have a buyback on a Vorst.
And they lost the tier 1 tower. But they're going to claim Roshan as their grand prize here, I think. But I don't know how good of a trade this actually is for Na'Vi. They still lost their tier 1 top. Okay, if RTZ doesn't continue here, then I think Na'Vi can still be okay with this. But that was a big swing if you look at the gold graph. Okay, so I wasn't sure how bad of a trade it was. It's a pretty bad one. They lost about 5,000 gold, would you believe it? Across that fight, and the experience swung up as well. Look at the XP. That's very rare. You see something like that. Boom, right there. EG coming back in style here with those two ganks and killing two very core heroes here on Na'Vi, and maybe a third. Again, Dandy could be in trouble here in mid. I don't think Mason has the damage though. He could be countered now.
Yep, and now Silence Dream Call. Silence is a little bit off here, however, and Dandy's low on life. He jaws down. Tiny's on the wrong side. Throws the Avalanche, will get the kill. But it's still a 1-for-1 trade. A Vorst in the middle of this engagement. Tossed up in towards the air. Blinks himself away to safety, while Puppy searching for extra damage. And Funnick, he was in the middle of the fight going ROTK style. And we go 8-5 now, with EG having the potential to push against that mid tower because the Aghanims is up for Tiny. Even using the Hand of Mice, taking up these Chen creeps as well as the tier 1 tower. He's waiting for the last hit to just fuel what will be an Assault Cuirass for him.
Really good team fights here coming out for EG. It was starting to look really grim for them, but they're making some very good calls here, I think. Mason, yes, he did die there for that jump, but the trade-off they got, which was 2 cores and a tower for it, easily worth it. I think they knew that Antimage's ultimate was on cooldown still after the Roshan, so they tried to go for it. And actually, speaking of which, might have to see it used again here soon.
It's just stalking in the night, man. I don't know if he's waiting for the Hellfire Blast to go.
Here comes Prophet!
Yeah, they needed help, and now the TP will go. Mana Void will cancel the TP, and again, PPD will die right now. The blink up to him, keep the vision. That's a good gank there from Na'Vi, just finding an opening. And they get back into their farming. They still know that Na'Vi have the superior farming game here. The problem they have is just this global control. They still need Prophet to be bigger than what he is right now. The Blink Dagger Maelstrom build is looking nice, and are they really? They're thinking about it. The Spirits are coming in from Wisp, and that's going to reveal the fact that Funnick is there, but it also gives away Zai's position. Sprout will give the extra vision. They need a Dream Call or something. The Burrow Strike comes in. They catch out Zai. Get slightly blocked in by... Move trees, please. Move trees, please, please, buddy, please.
I think he's got cooldown on it.
No, the trees are just blocking the path.
Oh, the train. So.
Just holding his team there for a moment to think about it, reflecting on what they've done. But it's still 2 good pickoffs coming out here from Na'Vi.
I think Na'Vi are making a mistake if they try to go for this tier 2 top. IO is going to be back in time to defend it in 15 seconds. The rest of EG will be ready to take the fight, and Havost isn't even there.
They're not looking for a fight in this situation. Like, you've seen this time and time again. If you want to take this back in history, all you really have to do is add pressure towards the tower to force a reaction, and that's exactly what they got. Like ET, the SK, the Wraith King, the old version SK, and Tiny all came up towards that top lane, so it buys space for a force to continue to farm up. This isn't a 5 protect 1 strat, this is a 4 distract 4-1 strat.
Is that a thing now? That's a new thing.
It works for me, man.
4 distract, 4 protect 1?
It's just
what'd you call it?
No, you don't even protect him. Like, he protects himself,
4 distract,
man.
4 strat.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, man.
I like the sound of that. It's pretty cool. But I want to point out the fact that RTZ has overtaken Havost by 1,000 net worth.
That wasn't visible.
Point. Oh, Havost, what?
He loses the Aegis, but there's more support. Epicenter, double burrow strike from Koro with the Prophet Ultimate. Test from Puppy will make sure RTZ goes down. They lose the Aegis to the Immortal, but they get 2 kills out. Denny was also having a crack at Universe at the same time. But Na'Vi, they group together as 5, and now Dendy, you know where he wants to go. The pings are even coming out right now for another burrow strike. It caught Universe out of position. Denny's all getting phase shifts and evades the Hellfire Blast from PPD. And with 3 heroes down, Na'Vi can take this tier 2 tower in the mid.
It's definitely a gone. A really good bait there from Havost. I bet EG were thinking the same as me, like, what? Did he just blink into that and get 1 shot? But
well, when you got Aegis, you may as well use it.
Gave Na'Vi the time they needed to follow up with a beautiful burrow epi here from Kuro, and they get a 3 for 0 and a tower out of that. So a big swing back now going in Na'Vi's favor. This is a very, very close game, actually. Even though Na'Vi are ahead by about 3,000 or 4,000, the gold is not what matters right now. It's all about the initiation power.
Yeah, we've seen it time and time again with tiny games as well with Wisp. You know you can lose gold, you can lose towers very, very quickly with a lineup. It's all about your positioning. If you can win the team fight with an ED spirit down, like, you're gonna be in a really good position. Now, Hoofstomp's coming out from Puppy's Centaurs, and it might as well at least get rid of one of them, but they were only buying time. The tower goes down, there's another hit to Anti-Mage. It's already finished the mana style. It flew in after that gank in the middle lane, and now he's up to another 1,500 gold, and you can see where he's going with this as well. Like, it's just tank ability, farm ability. I kind of wish this courier would move. It's been here for like 2 minutes now, not even flinching. I don't know what I was waiting for. Dendy, it's actually already the Nature's Prophet's been picked off, but the relocate, it's going to drag him back here. The question is, does Na'Vi feel they can fight this?
I think Io's going to come back along.
Yeah, the creep waves to the west. He goes sideways, but look at Koro, sticks with him. Mara strikes through, so they did lose Nature's Prophet. That was actually down on the bottom lane. I should take it out. I should correct. So the relocate went down for that.
Yeah. I still think EG is okay with that. Trading IO for anyone at this point I think is a good trade. He's 0-7, so he's easily the best hero to trade off right now. Not really looking... Is he close to any item? I guess that Lads isn't too far off, so maybe he would actually like to get that before he plays a little more sacrificial, but I don't think we've talked too much about this. Let's say this game looks like one that could go late, right? Mm-hmm. RTZ is getting very farmed. Even though Havost has had a great game, he's still on par with RTZ, with the Midas and of course the IO helping him farm. He farms really, really quickly here. And come late game, Anti-Mage is actually a deceptively weak, very late game hero. He gets very strong around 25 to 45 minutes, but then when you get further into the game, he kind of falls off. Yeah. Even though you would think he's amazing because he has a blink and a built-in mana break, etc., but it's actually not as good as you would think in late game. Whereas Tiny, I think, goes absolutely crazy unless he gets kited. He is always going to hit incredibly hard. Yeah. And he has Natural Order. Never forget Natural Order in the late game, together with a Storm Spirit 2 with heavy single target damage. Mm-hmm. I don't think Na'Vi can feel safe just farming anymore. No, now that RTZ got this much, the
only person I'd feel safe if there was a lot more farm coming into him is Funnick. Because Funnick is the guy that we know in late game, Nature's Prophet, position-wise and decision-wise, is able to outstrip the Tiny. He may even want to pick up a Skadi during this game right now for Funnick, so he's able to kite the Tiny out. I know it's really difficult when you've also got a Wisp on the field, but they're going to need something really here in the late game, or they win this in 40 minutes. Get that Desolator up after Funnick's finished up the Orchid, get the Mjolnir to go with it, and just force down building after building, because there's only one remaining outer tower for EG, where Na'Vi, they still hold every single tier 2 tower. And now you see also Koro, they're amplifying their damage up now. going for the Veil instead of actually looking towards Aghanims. Like, with the two of those together, like, that's also going to hurt like hell.
Yeah. It's to me, this game is almost completely even now, which I feel like is a little weird to say when Na'Vi are ahead by 7,500 gold and about 5,000 experience. But just in terms of raw composition, I'm still choosing EG to win this in the late game. And I don't know if you would agree. Maybe I said it in a wrong way before. I'm not saying AM is a weak late game hero. That was not what I meant. But in comparison to many other heroes very late game, he falls off. There are simply just better late gamers. And I would say, personally, for me, Tiny is a stronger hero with an absolutely full inventory than Anti-Mage is.
I get what you mean, man.
Especially when he has an Elder Titan on his side. So, and what does Na'Vi have late game? Sand King is actually really great, even in very late game, because Burrow Strike is an instant stun. But when a lot of BKBs come up, Epicenter falls off, Puck falls off, Chen really falls off late game. And unless Furion gets a lot of farm here, funding on the Nature's Prophet, he's also not going to be too big of an impact. And what does he have right now? He did not go for a Midas. So he has Orchid and Maelstrom at 27 minutes in, which is okay, but in comparison to the other farmers in the game, we know how effective Prophet can be. We've seen Bulldog farming with him. He's still about 5,000 gold behind the big farmers in this game, and that's not going to be enough, I think.
The simple solution right now for Na'Vi is just force a fight. But they're not going to do this head-to-head with EG, because they're not going to feel like they got a major advantage. So the main thing, which I think Na'Vi is going to be waiting for here, is just to find Roshan. If they can get pick off, they'll go for it. If they can't, they'll just wait it out, get Roshan, and then look for an opening. Go for a good old fight. Try and find a little bit of split push in the meantime. Keep EG bouncing around the map so they can't 5-man group up and try and find kills all across the map. The primary thing they gotta do is just wait it out, pick up the Aegis Immortal, and then take a fight which they feel comfortable with. And when they feel comfortable, which I'm pretty sure this Anti-Mage is getting more and more comfortable with every second that's passing by.
And this is going to be important. The Roshan is, of course, whenever we have a very late game which is fairly even, Roshan plays a huge role every single time. And Na'Vi have the dire advantage, which we shouldn't forget about.
So long jump,
boy,
Blink got Funnick. Major problem when you got Blink Daggering Wraith King as well as a Storm Spirit.
I like that a lot. Nature's problem. Oh boy, it's a Nature's problem right there. EG are going to put a lot of pressure on the tier 2, but Na'Vi are going for a good trade here on the bottom tier 2, and Havost is really quick right now at pushing down this tower.
Yeah.
Elder Titan doing what he can. Surprised to see him not using the Echo Stomp. There it comes.
But it's only affecting Dendy. Havost is the main man doing the damage, and that's the reason why he wasn't wanting to do it, because it's splitting it up.
Oh, and they didn't even get the trade, EG, actually.
Nope.
They got pushed away by a Centaur.
But they did actually take out the mid-tier 2 tower, and it was really just a Centaur?
I don't know, that might have been something else, but...
Well, Chen Centaur will now finally go down.
If they also get the top tier 2 now, then it's an absolutely great trade for EG. 2 towers for
They've
one,
got it.
and they got the kill as well. Yep. So again, I think we're getting back to completely even ground once more as far as gold goes. The little lead that Na'Vi has managed to build is now... They're going to lose a couple of thousand. Yeah, probably 2,000 off of what just happened then, and more importantly, map control.
Yeah. Only one tier 2 tower left, man, for the entire map.
EG has none either.
Yeah. But this for me, though, I'm still thinking the Anti-Mage, when he's ready to fight again, which I think is going to be when he finishes his BKB. Like, he's got Heart, Mana, and Battle Fury. Right now, it's BKB so he can walk himself around the fights and feel a lot more safe about everything. And then also at that point, by the time he's got enough money for that, like, they should have the Aegis Immortal in the bag as well. But EG is going to be very much aware of this. Like, Roshan time, everyone knew it. The maximum actually spawn time has now passed. So 100% known from EG that the big man is back up and running again.
Yeah, they're not going to fight for it.
It's so dangerous to do so if they attempt it, and it's already too late. Roshan belongs to him. Aegis Immortal is in the hands of Havost. He drops the Quelling Blade in order to have that. So now they've got a double Anti-Mage to try and deal with, who's already evading basically Storm's only control, because he went for a Lincoln Sphere as his second ability.
Yeah, I'm really surprised he went for that Lincoln's, actually. I get where he's coming from, because there's not that many abilities on Na'Vi that are single target, so maybe he can block the Mana Void, for example. But the problem is he can't commit into the fight before he has the BKB. That's why I think EG didn't even want to try to take that fight without a BKB on Storm. But the thing about BKB, however, is it doesn't give him any mana, and it doesn't give him any mana regen. So it's a strictly defensive item. Or, of course, you use it aggressively, but it doesn't really help him sustain himself apart from just not dying. He can't keep jumping with that as much as with a Lincoln's, which gives mana regen and good stats. But yeah, I mean, so far, the way the game has been going, I actually think the Lincolns might have been a better choice because they don't get these kind of fights anyway. So if this is how EG want to play the game, I guess Lincolns was the better choice.
And RT's getting so fat again. That Chrysalis is over on him at the moment. If this turns to a Daedalus, Na'Vi could find themselves like, you get an army of Chen Creeps, you get an army of Treants, and all of a sudden one swing and they're all gone, evaporated into thin air.
Havost has to get an Abyssal Blade, I think.
Yeah,
he needs to
100%.
lock down. He needs to lock down the Tiny, and they need to have enough burst to take him down. And this is where it gets hard for Na'Vi. Havost's damage output is heavily based off his Manta, and a lot of that damage just disappears when Arteezy turns on his BKB. He doesn't take any of the mana break damage at that point. And yeah, a little bit of jumping around here from both teams.
It was the Prophet ulti that triggered a Funnick. Oh!
Wow.
He had no stun. It was just a straight TP out. But it's the fact there's extra heroes around here at the moment. They were searching for an opening, but stay in the trees.
It's really important for Havost right now that he has his the Aegis, because committing into a fight right now is very dangerous, which is weird to say when you've got a 32-minute Manta Heart Battle Fury, right? But again, the raw damage of EG's lineup is absolutely insane. And if you choose to go into a fist fight with a Tiny with IO, you're gonna lose. It pretty much doesn't matter what hero you're playing. You're just gonna get killed. And even with great farm on Havost, Arteezy is still staying on par. They have pretty much identical net worth.
Avos is pushing out the top lane right now, and I'm not quite sure what EG is really playing. Mason, the smoke will break and he intercepts the creep wave, and you could just see they converge on him. Now the Orca, where's she going to come from? He needs to actually use his Sprout first to trigger the Lincoln Sphere, and that's what he's waiting for. It's a long jump up. Unfortunately, Mason is actually revealing of Zai's hidden place. The Funnick throws out the Sprouts. It's a good thing he's already TP'd out. A new set of trees, and now Mason, he's wasting the time. Na'Vi is basically chasing a white rabbit right now.
Space created. Wow, that's got to be really frustrating. Na'Vi were actually grouping up top to put a lot of pressure, and then he cuts off the wave and basically wastes their time for like 30 seconds. And meanwhile, EG is just farming. Arteezy gets to steal the Ancients of Na'Vi. They get to farm their own jungle. And yeah, this is one of those games that could really... This could be your 60-minute game right here, I think. And...
But Na'Vi won't want this to happen, man.
Exactly. They don't want a late game. They don't. Well, we're kind of entering the late game now, but when Havost has full inventory, that's when they need to strike.
Well, it's only going to get worse after that. He's got 5.7k right now, and he's actually going to be a butterfly. So 200 gold away, and he'll finish that one. They just need to give him one more camp. But this means he's buying out for this too. He wouldn't have spent that money right now unless he was really going to do it.
That's the best choice right here. Tiny does not have an MKB, and it doesn't look like he's building one, and there's no hexes on EG, so it's really effective hit points for him right now with the butterfly. And of course, it's got good damage too. So
I'm really not sure about this from EG. I know they're trying to force a reaction out, but they're using relocate to split push out. Now Zai TP'd himself away. The jump down, Funnick, well, he got the Orchid off, but still, he has no hex, he has no stun, he has no disable. So nothing's controlling that at all. But EG, like, they're trying to basically play a winning split push battle up against a farming AM and an Aegis Prophet who's loving this because he's farming in basically relative safety. He moves back towards his tier 3 tower and free farms from here, building his way in towards the Scythe of Ice, looking for the high control while Puppy is actually planting flags of Na'Vi all through the EG jungle.
It's the most important thing for Na'Vi at this point to get these hexes up so they can allow Havost to take the fights on his terms. Yeah, he's going to go on.
He just jumps in. The avalanche will slow him down, but with Butterfly as well as Heart, he's just feeling invincible at the moment, especially with Aegis the Immortal behind him. He doesn't care about having buyback. And wait! Whoa. Cool your jets.
4.
Avast, he's in again. And that's going to toss the ET, but the mana style goes. A lot of mana being removed from these heroes before the fight's going to begin, and Zai has to trigger a lot. He's still running this double bottle wheel over on the Wisp. I love it. Koro, he's in. The Veil of Discord has not been used. He's not looking for any kind of combo here. Avast taking the stun that is forced up themselves back out. In the meantime, Mason is just split pushing up on the top lane. And the Funnick's dealing with the middle lane also, trying to keep this pressure out, but it really looks like Na'Vi is trying to keep all eyes of EG firmly fixed on the south.
And a split push game right now for EG is
Koro, there's a relocate coming on him. He couldn't hide inside the sandstorm. And they actually end the killing spree. 442 gold goes the way of, would you believe, ET? Who was the one to get the kill for that one? Going towards the Shiva's Guard fund.
And this might be the biggest problem that Na'Vi's going to have with ending this game, is that there's going to be the constant split pushing. And while Prophet is generally really good at it, the problem is the split pushing here for EG can solo him right now, which is the Storm. So he can't just go and do the same kind of split pushing that Mason is doing, whereas Mason can play with relative safety as long as Puck is visible, so he knows he doesn't get hexed up. So he's playing really aggressively. We're going to see it again here, actually trying to get onto Funnick, but good awareness from him. Whereas
PPD,
most,
however, that's a gem lost. That's actually rather expensive for him. Poppy was already deboarding out, and now he'll actually take 2 of the gems back for himself. But the BKB is now finished over on Mason, so he's got more security. But again, we don't see Mason bringing a higher level of control. Like, even though, like, you say, okay, Animage, he definitely tails off at the end of like 45, 50 minutes. You start to hit a point where like life gets a little bit harder for him, and it's the Tiny who's gonna be causing the problems. But you still have to look to EG, other heroes, to do something. And right now, Mason, he's a Vortex and a Silence. And the Silence does nothing up against the AM because of Manta style. And your Vortex also is like one of these things where you hold him in position, but you've got evasion and a whole lot of strength.
With the rate Mason is farming, he's going to have a scythe in 5 or 6 minutes.
He's not in range for the burrow. And Zai, okay, that's a really, really defensive relocate, and they saw that happen too.
Zai basically just killed himself there. He got nervous.
Yep. And there's no creep wave to help him. The creep wave's going the wrong direction here. You're actually seeing Wraith King. He's coming out at the moment, but Funnick is going to be here. The second he arrives, there's your Hex coming up. But that's actually the other Hex. But with Ghost Scepter, he's just more susceptible to the rest of the damage that Dendy will throw his way.
It's a good kill for Na'Vi. The question is, can they go high ground here? It's 50 seconds, actually, and this is a big blow to Tiny as well. Don't forget, it's just Io dying. It's a lot of Tiny strength.
Tiny is so far away. Like, Arteezy's trying to go for a trade-off. Storm Spirit's actually pushing to the tier 3 tower in the mid, but Na'Vi, they got 5 heroes as well as Centaurs in the bottom lane.
They can't do this. They have to go back.
Yeah, they're coming back. Funnick is retreating first, and there's a move in top lane. There's a double TP coming in. Have they actually managed to get him? The Storm Puppy gets stopped. Dendy will still be able to come back, so they got him up on the top lane, but it's Arteezy, the main man I want to follow here. Will he go down? The BKB will trigger. The Sprout, not able to contain him, but the Dream Call, he's on TP out of Divorce. He saved the Mana Void, cancels the TP. BKB will now wear off, tossing a Force back, but in they come. Na'Vi, they're throwing their bodies at him, and they bring down the Tiny. Chen did have to dive for the cause in the bottom lane after a good stomp coming out from Universe, but they brought down the big man. That's a long time for Tiny to be on the sidelines.
And now the question is, can Na'Vi get some sort of collateral here? 70 seconds, there's no Roshan, and they're pretty far away from being able to get a tower, so...
Right now, they're going to force the buyback. That's the primary thing. Like, Roshan timing is around now. Unfortunately for them, it's the maximum spawn time, so it's a really, really long time for them to take an advantage here. But Na'Vi, they're going to push down the middle lane and see if they can just force a reaction out from them. Keep control of the side lanes with Funnick, but add some pressure down the mid. But actually, are they? They're backing up. It looks like they're not.
They're not going to be able to go high ground here without Chen alive and without any sort of... They don't have enough pressure available right now. Anti-Mage's ultimate is on cooldown. EG are in a good defensive position, and if they try to commit a little bit too much, the buyback that they want to force can really backfire on them. So they decide to play it safe here. And I would say overall, considering Io being dead for 50 seconds and the position EG were in, I think sacrificing Arteezy at that point to get a little bit of split push on the mid tower, about 600 damage dealt, and to defend their own base because of it, was probably a good choice here from EG, even though it was, you know, sacrificing your position 1 is generally not worth it, but that could have gone way, way worse for EG here.
Okay, question. Havors, there is one last slot here.
Abyssal.
Does he just go, okay, I know you wanted that one before, but does he save the slot for the Aegis the Immortal? Or does he give this over to here like players like Dendy or even Nature's Prophet? But then again, Nature's Prophet normally runs pretty high on items, which he cannot just drop. Kuro, trouble. He's going to be so quick. Soul Spirit, and he's not quick enough. The Orc will be able to get it, so Kuro getting picked up right now. Ghost Scepter buying him some time, but not enough time. The Orc still comes in, and a goblet of Force. Mason, he's low on mana at the moment, but not low enough to go for it. Now the Avalanche toss, looking to come in. He's actually been thrown away. A Force, he needs more space here. Blink is available, and he gets himself out. The Heart's going to come in. The stop wasn't in time, and a Force is a way to heal up. And that's the relocate down as well again. But Mason is, the illusions is just draining him out. And you got your wish, man. The Basher, that's also full Abyssal, I think, over, he doesn't have enough money for it.
I don't think he's going to buy it before he has buyback. He's still, even with a full inventory, I still think he's susceptible to going in, especially when there's going to be a Hex on the Storm.
He's sticking with it. He's got Dream Coil available right now. They actually toss Avalanche, turns to him. Dendy goes up and protects him. The Dream Coil will go. He needs to get further away from this, however. The Dream Coil actually snapped off by Tiny. Anti-Mage disintegrates the Wisp, and they're coming for Tiny. Toss Funnick low. The cleave, 1k crit. He's still held in position by the Troll Trap. Down again, 85-second window, but they lost the Natus Prophet. So the split push isn't there, but the opening will be for a Vost because there are very few heroes here on EG, which he'll feel threatened by.
And all the dead heroes do have buyback apart from the IO, which is back in 30 seconds anyway. I don't think Na'Vi are going to get anything more out of this than the kills, but if they repeatedly kill Arteezy like this, he loses a lot of momentum, and he's not full slotted yet like a Vost almost is, so really, really important for Na'Vi to try to keep as much pressure on Arteezy as possible. My main concern for Na'Vi is that they're not keeping any pressure on Storm. They have not killed Mason for a very long time. He almost has the scythe, and that's going to be the biggest deal perhaps, because Vost doesn't have a BKB in his build. If he gets hexed and he stands in the natural order and Tiny clops him, I'm not even exaggerating, he could be dying in 3 seconds.
I'm
during that hex.
actually wondering if Na'Vi is going to move one of these Ghost Scepters into an Heat Blade just to protect him.
Yeah, that would be a really good choice. I like that idea a lot. I think it's what Dendy got the Ghost Scepter for in the first place as well.
And actually you'll see him. He's got 3.4k gold, so he can take the Aegis Immortal and pick up the Ghost Scepter right now and just keep a Vost with some extra space. And a Vost, once he's got the extra help, they're going to be fine with it. So the Aegis Immortal is there. The cheese is taken by Dendy, in fact. And Aegis is taken by Natus Prophet for this game.
I think that's a good distribution as well. There we go. Yeah, very nice call and a great pickup here from Dendy. Of course, it's not just about saving his teammates. They also get a lot of burst potential out of it. Has great synergy with Mana Void to deal ridiculous magic damage. And of course with Sand King, everything about him and his own abilities as well. So I like this choice a lot from Dendy. I think it was between that and a Refresher Orb. He could have gone the Refresher, so he had double Hex, double Coil. But I think the E-Blade is better, and Na'Vi are so good at using it late game. I think they've won quite a few games by having late game Ethereal Blades and having excellent coordination with it.
Someone just purchased up a Sanj. I went back to the courier for a moment, and I saw a Sanj on the courier. Alright, it's just turned around after using his bonus movement speed. Because I was waiting to see if it was coming out to pick up the Relic, because of course has enough money for buyback after death now, while finishing off the full Abyssal Blade.
There is the Hex.
So he kind of needs to finish that now. You're right, yeah, the Hex is up. That Abyssal needs to be on the Anti-Mage. Like right now, Horvos, boy! In he goes, Mana Style will pop. It's like he's just trying to use the mana to burn off a little bit of the mana here of Arteezy.
Just putting whatever split push pressure he can here, but that I don't think that was worth the Manta Style usage, because now Na'Vi can't really push in, but maybe they didn't want it to. They didn't want to anyway. Mason again.
What is this guy? He's always on this side lane. It's not even because he's walking around with BTs, but Funny can deal with this quite easily. He's got Orchid side, there's no problem. He can also build up a full Mjolnir if he wants to.
By the way, it would be interesting to see this from Nahas. I think this is one of the highest farms on Storm Spirit I've ever seen. He's got 10 CS per minute in a 44-minute game. That's very high, because Storm is usually a ganking hero, but Mason's only been part of 6 kills since they play this kind of split push strat where they try not to get into too many fights, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is in the top 3 of highest CS per minute in a game for a Storm Spirit. This is really, really high. And again, coming back to it, where does Phonic go from here? I think he has to get damage items, because Anti-Mage will not be able to do enough physical damage alone come the very late game. So what would you get on the Prophet here? Do you think he has to get a BKB so that he can actually stand and fight first?
No,
or do you go straight in for like a Daedalus and just hit hard?
I would have finished the Mjolnir, put this effect over on the Anti-Mage, and then just find your own version of damage. I don't think we're looking at any kind of butterflies or anything like that. So it's either Daedalus or it's Deso. If I was playing up this Natus Prophet. Keep that split push going and be right behind it and just force it. That's it.
Arteezy just missed 5 attacks in a row on the Anti-Mage Illusion. He's like, he just gave up and ran out. How unlucky can you get? Oh. He must, at some point you're like, okay, this has to be the real hero, because even when I hit it, I feel like I'm not dealing enough damage.
It's Arteezy buying, like, okay, he just finished up a Mana Style. Why is he not finishing a Monkey King bar after just displaying it quite clearly then? Where is the damage directly hitting the Anti-Mage? Unless he's relying 100% on that side device being out there from Mason. But you can't rely on that.
Well, so far in this game, I mean, with how Mason has played and how the fights have developed, I think it's fairly reasonable to actually rely on the Storm getting in, since he's been able to play a pretty safe game. When he has BKB on, no one's going to kill him. Like, there's nothing on Na'Vi that can kill him, so he can precast BKB, he jumps in, and he instantly hexes the AM. That could be the opener for the fight, and I think that's the plan here. Arteezy's just getting whatever gives him the most mobility and the most flexibility in the fights. The Manta Style, of course, he moves a lot faster. He can maybe evade a thing or two as well with with this really quick cast here. Is nice split pushing here from Havost, doing a lot of damage. Perfect Manta disjoint as well.
Man, how much trouble does this make for PPD as well? Every time these illusions come out. And miss. There you go. Third time lucky. But like the Wraith King, you think he's going to just like slow down the entire fight when that happens, but these illusions of Havost are even causing problems for him.
Haste.
And Arteezy, I suppose this is nice confidence walking out. Puppey is very aggressively positioned. To be anywhere in this area when you have blink daggering heroes is very, very dangerous. Hey, relocate, where are we headed? It's top lane. They've triggered the Aegis model on Funnick.
Oh, they're going to kill him twice?
Yeah, they should be able to, but blink from Funnick so quick. They'll catch him in the tree line. Relocate's got 3 more seconds, and Funnick, is he trying to fight this one? Zai's taking a lot of damage. Funnick, 11 life points. The Orchid will trigger him. They're back on the bottom lane. There's trouble. They've entered the base here, Na'Vi. Mason, he's still alive inside. Havost, he's taking up his illusions, finishing the range racks up. Mason very low on mana here, but can Na'Vi finish the rest of the Raxes here? A new set of trees being created. Havost is back to full life. The Abyssal Blade still has not been used. They stop and slow him down. But Funnick, he's back in the engagement. The hands on Mason. Look at him just go! The double kill from the Mana Void. Arteezy on the front lines, but he's just tracking down Puppey. Hand of God, he gets the crit. Moves over to Funnick. Arteezy going for more. Kuro comes in with the epicenter. Mason back out though. They're losing too many here, Na'Vi. EG will defend it, but the bottom rack is not the problem. Havost, he's in the tier 3 tower, blinking away to safety. Running up north, it's only Dendy and Havost that will survive it. And they didn't get the melee racks in the bottom lane. It was only 1 for the price of 3, like the 1 range racks for the price of 3 heroes.
This is what EG's lineup can do on the defense. They're just so incredibly strong at jumping. Actually, Havost,
he's in trouble right now.
He might have overstepped his boundary this time.
There's more TPs coming in. He needs to get out. Blink can't man a blink. He's away. Out through the top. They try and keep with him into the trees where it's safe. Regeneration and blinks deeper into the trees. But up middle lane, Arteezy, he's cleaving up the mid. They've used fortification here. They have to use fortification. 21 life points in the tower. The TP's coming back. It's going to be Dendy. He's E-plating up one of them so the Tiny stops attacking. But Arteezy, he's melting through the melee ranks. Dendy, he can't stop this. There is no way he can. Arteezy is going one-man YOLO down the middle lane. The BTs are there. Is from Havost. Puppey's coming in. They want to catch out. They can't. 8 seconds. Puppey tossed down. Crit in again. Puppey's on the sidelines. Dendy is still here. Havost, he's going on side with the Abyssal Blade being used. Dash and Mana Boy getting the kill, but Arteezy now man fights up against Havost. This is not going to work for him though. Kuro comes in with the Burrow Strike. No mana on Tiny. Looking for the Crackly. Gets it, but there's the Hex. He's down, but instant buyback coming out from Arteezy. He wants to stay in this fight. They want to hold that momentum that came from the mid-raxing.
What an amazing call by Arteezy to actually go for that. He knew Havost didn't have a TP. He knew there were 3 dead heroes, and I don't know if he banked on the fact that Na'Vi didn't have any buybacks or if he just gambled that, but he just soloed a lane of Rax
yes,
with 2 Na'Vi heroes alive, and Dendy couldn't do anything about it. He doesn't have the damage at the point, and this is always going to be the scary thing in late game against the Tiny, but wow, Havost. Is he going to replace an item at this point? He might be replacing the Battle Fury at some point for something else.
He's removing his treads.
Gold.
He's removing his treads for the BTs at least. Actually, I think he only just bought the BTs in case he dies. He buys back and then just switches the treads out. So for now, he has the attack speed. Now he has the strength, so he can fight in the engagements. But it means you're basically fighting up against 6 heroes right now on the Na'Vi lineup because you get him back. And technically, once Funnick gets his buyback again, you are fighting 7v5. But doesn't seem to be much of a problem for Arteezy. 4.3k gold on this guy now. He is actually maxed out. Like, unless he drops the treads and picks up something else like the Monkey King bar, that's the only other thing which he would trade off in this game.
Yeah.
Maybe he would consider dropping the Manda style, but I doubt it.
I would agree with switching the Battle Fury at this point for Havost, because the thing is, it's not pushing out the lanes doesn't seem to be the problem for Na'Vi right now. They're actually applying a lot of pressure, and generally the game so far over the last 10 minutes.
What would you get as a trade-off though?
Either you get the MKB or I don't know. Yeah, what is the best choice actually? Do you think an Aura? Do they have a Kiras? Would that be a good choice for him? So he's more tanky as well, or
I wouldn't even want to see that over on Havost because. Like,
yeah, they would want to get them on someone else.
The only thing I would consider dropping off would be the Manta style, but he kind of needs that already. Like, you drop the Mana for a BKB, and just run a 7 slot anti-mage, have the courier next to you, so you can come in, you can drop the BKB, or just have like a standard Mana style on you. When I don't know, it's a real toss-up right now, because it's just so circumstantial on what also EG are capable of picking up here.
Mason, they almost found him.
He's out. He's out.
Would have been a really big kill for Na'Vi. I think he still has buyback on cooldown. Yeah, for another 2 minutes. So it's getting really tense right now. Na'Vi is still, in my opinion, controlling the map better than EG, which is very important at this point. But Havost is stacked. He shouldn't be getting any more gold now.
But
so the question is who do they
are
give the farm to at this point?
The farm goes to Dendy. The farm, he can actually pick up the Assault Cuirass himself. He's got 4.2k.
Another
They
EB.
get a second team played over on Kuro. And Kuro himself actually has so much money with this. So they're going to make it really difficult for Tiny to really to kill off anybody. But the problem is still going to be the fact that Cleave is going to really start to hurt. And they need something to deal with this. Funnick, I want to see something more on him. He's got to drop the TP scroll. I understand the reasons why he's carrying it, because it's a lot more of like safety first kind of style. But he's going to need a high damage dealing item to come out. And if Tiny does actually drop the Mana Style and pick up something like a Butterfly, he's going to need to have the cash to go straight into the Monkey King bar without actually waiting.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Oh, here we go. At least this is something that I do know is happening at this point. I'm kind of at a loss for how to predict what's going to happen in this game at this point, because it's something Dendy also talked about in an interview, has been brought up a lot of times. Na'Vi tries to avoid going into super late game, because in super late game 1 or 2 very small mistakes can cost the entire game. And I think we've reached that stage now where if let's say Havost makes a bad blink, he gets hexed and he dies. Perhaps Na'Vi don't have an opportunity for him to Boots of Travel in, or something like that, and that goes wrong. Or Arteezy gets into a bad spot and gets hexed up and gets killed, or Kuro gets an amazing epicenter where EG are out of position. The game could just end. This game could end in 2 minutes, or it could end in 20, and it's all about who makes the big mistake at this point.
Well, we're going to see who it's going to beat. Look at Avos, you know it. He pushes in through the middle lane, and I'm surprised EG weren't seeing this coming, because they knew he was just going to jump down, take the melee racks, and force the fortification more than anything else. The Spirit comes out. Actually, they didn't even force the fortification. The melee racks lost half-life, and Avos like, all right, round 2. He gets stuns this time. Didn't actually get the Mana Style off in time, but he was waiting it out. He is waiting, and just keeps going. Where is that? Wait, where? Why?
Wait,
I don't know. But either way, that melee rax is almost gone. Funnick comes in. Still no fortification. She now has been used. So Boss, low on life. They force him out. Mason's with him, but the Hex is going to be there. They need the Cleave. Where's your E-Place? Now is coming out of Boss. EG split. Huge from Uni. And that's going to be almost enough with the toss-up Kuro. He's locked in the sidelines, and they just kill him off. Arteezy with a double kill, triple kill. Going through the Captain pumping. Over to Dendy and Funnick. They're going to get more here, but Animage, he's born back to be in this fight again, but it may be too late. Dendy jumped himself away. Can he? Blink Dagger, 1 second. He's got enough time, but the silence stuns. Dendy is dead. The only person alive is Avos, and that's after buying back. The 4 racks was down the bottom lane, however, so it is still an advantage in a way to Na'Vi, because they had the buyback on the Prophet, and the split push is theirs.
That's not
but look at them coming. Look at them coming. EG, they are not waiting for it. They are just going to go straight up middle lane and force the GG push. They are looking for either racks or even tier 4s.
This is just Elder Titan late game, man. It really is. That fight, Universe was amazing in that fight. Let's see if EG can get anything more. Okay.
Fortification, there's the E-Blade. They stop him from attacking the first time. Wait it out. Fortification comes off cooldown. Arteezy works his way through it. Avos goes for Mace, but Avos so low on life. They got him! 2 minutes on the sidelines. This is the big opening. Going for the GG push, and it might be it. Na'Vi might be out here in the quarterfinals. Here at ESL 1, it is GG! EG will take the victory on the back of a massive Arteezy Tiny. Na'Vi have been eliminated from ESL 1, and EG have a date with Fnatic, using the combination that they love to use. But a beautiful, beautiful game here from Evil Geniuses. Game number 1 was just, it was wonderful coordination, it was wonderful rotation. And game number 2, you almost want to say, decision-making from EG was superb.
Full item Anti-Mage in that late game. He died in 3 seconds. Hex, Ancestral Spirit, and Tiny hitting him. He's critting him for like 1200 pure, because the 22 armor is just gone.
Yep.
Like, absolutely amazing. Let's hear what the desk has to say about that game.
Thanks very much. Breathless finish to the game. And Bruno, it's almost like you're in shock right now.
It was surprising. No one would expect that team fight to go so bad for Na'Vi. Hobos bought back, went immediately, just wanted to rejoin the fight. By the time he gets there, it's too late. His team is getting massacred. And with a team with a Tiny and a Wisp, you cannot allow them room to mistake. Every time that you're going to wipe, your base is gone.
Yeah. Shiva, sorry. It didn't really work out for Na'Vi in that one, and I think the crowd were obviously very disappointed with the way that ended as well. But credit to EG because they were under pressure right from the very get-go, and you both said actually that their composition was very much they had to get early kills if they were going to be a really big threat in this game, and they got them. They had 4 kills in the first 5 minutes, and it all seemed to be going really well. Where did they go wrong?
Tiny probably got a little bit too much farm. I think that is a big part of it, and just not able to keep the ball rolling. It was Navi tried, but EG was just, their positioning was just very clever. They knew what Navi wanted, and they just didn't give it away. So it was a very strong game from them.
Yeah, longer the game went on, Seb, it seemed like EG just hanging on in moments, and then suddenly they get the right team fight, everything goes their way, some great play throughout the team, and then just Navi not able to cope with that.
To be honest, as far as I'm concerned, it's more of a misplay from Navi than EG. Navi could win that game if the Prophet decided to actually play how Bulldog plays on Prophet. Navi has a very mobile lineup. They can kite EG so much with the SK, the Puck, the Nature's Prophet, and Storm was always taking the fights with EG. So if Fnatic once decided to go for the top lane rack or something like this, I think EG would be in huge trouble and they would probably have lost the game. But he decided to join the fight every time, although he had no damage to his name. And I think this is the main reason why Navi couldn't really end that game, because they had that game, in my opinion.
Well, every time he tried to accomplish objectives on his own, Stormseer would just kill him.
Storm was actually, whenever the fight starts, then he can just sneak out, dagger out, TP to the other lane, and I don't think EG would even have realized that. Anti-Mage pushing a lane, Prophet the other. I think they could end the game that way. They just took 5-on-5 fights versus Titan. Tiny didn't make sense in my opinion.
We were talking with Ben during the break how Fnatic seemed to be uncomfortable with the hero, with Nature's Prophet, not only because Navi isn't used to split push, but you were saying that the item is not something, the item progression was not something that, was it with you?
Yeah, it was.
No, you were staring at me blankly and I'm like, holy. But no, yeah, we was probably not used to this progression of items with Orchid and Blink and stuff like that, and it certainly showed, didn't it?
Yeah, Blink is pretty good versus Blink initiators too, but versus Storm Spirit, he'll just keep chasing after you. And in a very particular type of game, I think the build will work. Or if you're very, very experienced, like Admiral Bulldog, but Fnatic, he's not known for his Nature's Prophet. He's known as a playmaker, not necessarily a split pusher, and they didn't really play to their strength.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to hear from one of the winners. PPD right now is with Zoe.
Thank you very much, guys. I do indeed have PPD joining me. So once more, of course, a big round of applause for EG. Winning against Navi, just there. So now, this second game, you kind of won on the back of that tiny pick. And I mean, it was overall a really interesting game to watch. You are about to play Fnatic next. Are you going to fight them for their signature comp, Wisp and Tiny?
Well, our Wisp Tiny isn't anywhere as good as Fnatic's, so we're probably not going to let them have it. So either we'll take it or maybe just ban it. I'm not sure yet.
All right. So you are, as a team, considered one of the best in the world at the moment, like one of the hottest teams out there. For this tournament, do you consider yourself one of the favorites too?
I wouldn't go as far as favorites. There's a ton of good teams here, and right before TI, everyone's not showing everything, but we're very confident in our ability to win this tournament, and we're going to do our best.
All right. So I mean, I know you're not going to give me a proper answer to this, but you have some awesome stuff up in your sleeve you're going to show us here, because obviously this is a tournament with such a massive crowd. Are there picks you would go for just to please the crowd and have them behind you, or is that nothing you're going to do?
I don't think we're going to see an RTZ Pudge or Sniper, but maybe a TI, who knows?
All right, well, we're interested to see that. So once more, of course, congratulations. Thanks a lot for joining me for the interview. And we're going to give it back to you guys.
Thank you, PBD, and to Zoe as well. Yes, congrats to EG. We're going to go back and have a look at some of the action from the two games that we had. The first one was game one, EG. Let's drop you in there right now. Look, there we go. So we're 39 minutes in, 16-11 right now to EG. Talk us through this fight.
The decision from Doom not to use the to wait with the Doom was actually really good. Enigma is not fighting, but the thing is that you don't Doom Enigma, then Razor and Tide are free to do whatever they want. It was really hard playing Doom on Kuroki in that game. I feel like it was really hard. The decision making instantly is so hard, and then EG ended up crushing the fight. At this point, they're leading by maybe 10k gold, 10k XP. Yep. It's super hard for Navi to defend.
Yeah, there was nothing they could really do there, Shiva.
No, I think they put most of their damage into the Nature's Prophet and the Doom and the Invoker, and when that Chronosphere hit, it was only the Invoker that could actually do something together with the Void, and Void doesn't really do that much unless he gets really lucky, which he didn't.
Nice.
So you kind of it was just a controlling chronosphere, and it was not enough to achieve what they wanted to.
Okay, second one we've got made a lot of us smile up here. A few cheeky laughs. This was a bit funny. First blood in game 2.
That Harpy is OP. 140 damage every single time, every 4 seconds, 900 range.
The damage is insane.
Does a lot. Oh, look, I'm almost about to kill you. I'm about to die as well, but it doesn't matter because I can kill you first.
What is the range on that?
900.
That looked over 900.
You say it was over 9,000 as well?
That was that was a crazy start to the game. And then really, I guess the next thing we're going to show you is probably a good summary of just how badly things went for Na'Vi. This fight right now, considerably way through. It wasn't the end fight, but it was pretty much the end of Na'Vi.
This is what I meant. If here Storm is out of mana, Fnatic both back, and he's gonna TP into the fight. If he TP's top, that's a Rax for Na'Vi.
Yeah.
And he's TPing into the fight, and he's not gonna achieve anything here.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him. And if like this buyback, Buller will have TP top probably, or just the way they approach the game.
Just here.
Yeah, he's just getting, kited. He's just walking. And it's a shame. I'm pretty sure they could have won the game in my opinion. He played a great game on Prophet, don't get me wrong, but it's just, maybe it was a team call, but I felt like they missed their chance to end that game, and they had it.
Yeah. So just, critical decision making, Shiva, just one tiny little thing can make such a big difference in the game.
Yeah, I think for this entire series, actually, EG was just proven so strong. First game, they actually, they had a lineup that they are known for. They play with that all the time. They won with it, very strong. And then the second, it was more like Na'Vi had the control over the game, and they've proven that they can win against that as well, and it's just, they're the better team, deserving to go to the next round, 100%.
Okay, so disappointing for the tournament to lose such a big team in Na'Vi, but it would have been the same. We'd have been sat here saying the same thing if EG had gone out. It's harsh that these two teams have to meet so early, I guess.
We do lose a good team, but we have an amazing team going through. I mean, EG played awesome, and I'm looking forward to see how they're going to face versus Fnatic. They won with a tiny wisp, so that's quite funny.
Okay, and in terms of predictions, boys?
EG looks strong. The next game is actually going to be Alliance versus IG. I think out of their winner of the tournament.
And we also get Fnatic and EG.
Yeah, and in that one...
It's an old school clash, by the way. For those of you who've been around esports.
I just want to see Wisp Tiny. It doesn't matter who does it.
I don't think we'll see any Wisp Tiny.
I don't really think so.
I would agree. Okay, we're going to take a quick break here at the desk, and we're going to rejoin a man we haven't spoken to today. He was, of course, roaming around yesterday, attacking the crowd and finding all sorts of fun people to speak to. See what Sean has to say.
Thank you so much, Red Eye, and of course, hello everybody in Frankfurt at the stadium. If you are in the stadium right now, there is one simple way to make your day even better, and it's already pretty phenomenal, and that's getting your hands on some of this awesome Razer swag. Like this, like this, like this. All you need to do is right now, take the time, walk over to the Razer booth, take a photo there, whatever you want, make it crazy, make it cool. Use the hashtag ESL1, send that off, and you have a chance to win all this swag and more. So head over to the Razer booth, take that picture, and do it now to win this gear and more.
Thank you very much, Sean. Yes, we like free stuff, so that's all very nice and good. We also like some pretty damn decent semi-finals, and just very quickly from all of you, where is it going now? Because we've got 4 teams left in the semi-finals. The next Alliance IG is the first game, EG Fnatic. Bruno, just very quickly, 4 teams left. Which one wins?
IG.
Okay.
Yeah.
Malini?
I think Alliance versus EG and Alliance.
Oh, okay, Shiva.
Alliance, Fnatic, and Alliance.
Alliance, Fnatic, and Alliance. Okay.
As an Alliance win.
Yeah. No, I'm good. It's all right. You're in the awkward chair up there because Melk used to sit there.
Oh,
so
it suits me.
I think it breeds or something.
I go with the Merlini.
Really?
Which is Alliance versus EG, and
why are you copying people today, Seb? Why can't you just be original?
Honestly, from what we saw in the first round, Alliance and EG looked the strongest in my opinion.
Okay, all right, well, we'll find out whether these people have the right predictions or not. Don't forget, you can make your predictions over on the website, esl-1.com, and let us know who you think will win the semi-finals. We'll check out with the expert panel a little bit later on what they're going to choose. But for now, a quick break. When we come back, though, the semi-finals are upon us, ladies and gentlemen. Get excited for ESL 1 Frankfurt.